Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan, "Press on," has solved and will always solve the problems of the human race. Calvin Coolidge. My friends, take old Cal's advice to heart. Stick with it. Persistence. Just keep moving ahead. I'm a firm believer you're never a loser until you give up. And in this race of learning how to chart the markets, how to track stocks and ETFs, it just takes persistence. And don't worry about how long it takes. I'm your biggest fan. I'm telling you that you will make up for all the time you ever spent. But what we require is each and every day persisting through thick and thin, 10 to 15 minutes. That's all we ask. Practice trade all you can. Take all the videos. Read all the books you can. Our latest book is coming out very soon. I'm on chapter 20 right now. I'm finishing the final proofing before getting it off to the publisher, and I'll keep all of you posted. And by the way, guess who gets the first copies? Patreon members. At any of the 3 levels, you get a free copy. So another reason to be a Patreon member. The other reason, well, there's many of them, but another one is each and every week, 20 up to 20 weekly vertical crossovers. That's charts going on the weekly chart from green to red or from red to green. Plus, the minute you sign up, the first thing you get, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way, 3-part series. Keep it in mind, friends. Let's jump into these charts. Stocks are up for the day, both the S&P and the NASDAQ 100. Bonds are down. Gold is down. Bitcoin is down. Let's jump first into the S&P 500. What do we see here? Up 0.45%. Now, we look at where the high was last week. 574.71, 574.38. So not quite reaching the high of last week. We can see on the 2-day chart where things peaked up on that Wednesday, Thursday. And then this is the Friday, Monday with a little bottom there. I have to move to the side because, again, I tell you guys all the time, these dashes will fool you. Always look and then move to the side. Now look to the right. You can see a little bottom there, little bottom wick along with the top wick. So it's a spinning top. You can see 3 spinning tops here, almost dojis here at the end of the day. Lots of volatility being shown there, but did end up, and look at all the volume at the end of the day. Look at the volume here on the 2-day, higher than average. Of course, last week, we've seen volume, it decreased from the week before, but still went higher. Like I keep telling you guys, this is an election year. The last thing the party in charge, who's in charge of all the apparatus, the Department of the Treasury, SEC, you just go through it. The last thing they want to see happen is the economy trash a month before the election. Not likely to happen, is it? So you can count on, most likely, this market continuing by hook or crook to just keep on either holding where it is. There is a pullback. It's not going to be anything crazy. But trying to just keep on pushing up. And we are out of the summertime trading zone, moving into the fall-winter trading zone. What about the NASDAQ 100? Not up as much, 0.29%. It's holding right here on that prior high that we saw going all the way back to the 19th of August, the week beginning then, and the 16th of September. Now, we did see last week we peaked up higher, but as far as the candlestick itself went, stayed about there. This one, we look at the high of last week on the NASDAQ 100, 493.70. This week, 488.41. We can see where that 2 days pushing through. We can see where the half days trying to go back below. So again, how high will this market go? I don't know. But we are keeping our powder dry, paying attention. You can see where volume has decreased in the last 3 weeks. After that red spinning top, then things took off. But again, market just not throwing in with it. So that's telling you a lot if you've studied volume with us. We have several great chapters on volume in the new book. You're definitely going to want that. Now, let's move on to TLT, 20-year U.S. government bonds down for the day, 0.46%. Does that surprise you? Well, it really shouldn't. We had, the interim peak last week or 2 weeks ago where we had average volume. Last week we had a red down candle. Now, not my favorite. I prefer a red spinning top, but it was a red down candle. And you can see part of the reason I like red spinning tops is you can see how this week has started off, and it always seems to be this way. It takes it a while, if it ever does, go below the low of the prior week when you have it start off with just a red down candle. So we can see the volume last week was average, which gives us a good idea that, again, the market is into moving down because we had all that volume. And don't be fooled by the red and green colors. What does red mean? I explain this all the time, but this is the way we have it set up on these charts. It means whenever you see red volume, it means that the candle from the succeeding week is opening lower than the prior candle. So that's all that means. On the green candle here for the 16th of September, doesn't mean there was negative volume. It means that the candle opened lower than the prior close. Same here on last week, same here on this week. So down 0.49%. Gold pulling back, not the most for the day. That'll stay with Bitcoin, but gold pulling back for the day. 2 days in a row, you can see it on the half-day chart. Still well above the weekly trend line, but not reached the higher high yet. How high is gold going to go? Well, starting the week off weekly, starting off with the lower opening the prior close. Haven't seen that in 3 weeks. And we will just keep an eye on things. But, for the last 3 weeks, we've seen this volume building. So it looks like it might be blowing off some of that steam. And again, down 0.80%. What about Bitcoin? Bitcoin pulling back pretty strong for the day. 3.31%. Down in the morning, a little further down in the afternoon. You can see we got that wick on top on that 2-day chart showing you how much Bitcoin pulled back. And of course, average volume there. Average volume in the morning and afternoon on the half day. And when we look at what the volume's been like lately, you can see it hasn't reached average. It got its closest to it in a while. Well, maybe tying with that week back just 2 weeks ago. And at least it did back on the 3rd of September. But again, nice week popping up last week. This week, opening with a red candle, with a red volume. So opening lower than the prior close and not going anywhere near on the candle itself. Now remember, these are Heikin Ashi candlesticks. That's why you can have a green even on a strong down day. It is measured differently. If you've not taken a Heikin Ashi candle training, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to put that, it's a great training. I'm going to put that at the end of today's video. You will really get a lot out of it. Please listen to it. Understand the formula, because when you understand the high open, low close, the high and the low are not hard to understand because they're basically the same on a regular candle. But the open and the close are very important because they're giving you the average movement. Average pace is what I've been told Heikin Ashi means in Japanese. So that's what it's giving you, is the average pace of price movement. That's what makes it so important, and the reason we exclusively use the Heikin Ashi candlesticks. It gets rid of so much of the confusion of volatility when looking at candles. And when you match the Heikin Ashi candlesticks up with volume, it gives you so much information that it's almost crazy. And if you will just concentrate on that and then learn how to minimize your losses and maximize your gains by using the ATR, and of course using your profit and loss bands, which you set up here at the forecasting and measurement tools. It's the long position and the short position. And we've got great trainings on how to set up those profit and loss bands using the 2-day average true range and how you sell half your position in your practice trade after you hit one time the ATR on the 2-day chart and then you let the rest of it ride and play with the market's money and see how high it'll go. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.